Hello and welcome to the Craft and Survive server tutorial. I'm Havoc with the HGC YouTube gaming channel, and this is my cat Ember, who is not affiliated with any gaming channel but insists on being in this video anyway. We're going to go over a ton of stuff in this video, and if you're looking for a specific piece of information, I'll leave in the comments section timestamps to the different chapters. This is the intro chapter. The next chapter will be configuration files, and so on. But the first thing I want to talk about real quick is bestarkhosting.com. This will show you different options. Craft and Survive is not the only server rental website there is. So just do your own due diligence. Each one has different costs per slot. Some support different platforms than others, like this one supports PlayStation. So again, just do your own due diligence and pick the one that's best for you. You think I would have chosen Host Havoc, but I didn't. So let's just take a quick look at this. Craft and Survive. This is the landing page, and they'll have promo codes from time to time. This one was for a 10% discount, but it's no longer valid, and by the time you watch this video, it probably won't be valid anyway. But let's go into the instant setup and just go through that real quick. So you can choose the billing cycle. You can pay in 1 month increments or 3 month increments. Right now, just standard, I'm at about $19 a month. If I did 12 months, that's going to be $191 a year. So you're going to probably I don't know what you want to do, but I do 1 month at a time. You're going to want to choose whichever big city is closest to you to get the best ping possible. And then if you've got a ton of friends, you can have up to 160 slots. It's going to cost you $72 a month. And none of your friends are going to help pay for it. They say that they will, but they won't. So take that lesson from me. I do 10 slots because I don't have a lot of friends. In fact, I usually play on it by myself. I'm doing the Dino Archive series, so it's just kind of my private corner where I can work on my YouTube videos. But continuing on, if you're going to have a bunch of people on your server, you might want to get some of these upgrades. I'd say probably anything past 60 players, you might want to start thinking about some of these upgrades. But for 10, 20, 30 people, the standard $20 a month will be just fine. You can get 4 gigahertz instead of 3.2. You can upgrade from a solid state drive. This one you can't really do anything, so don't worry about that one. And then here's a breakdown of all of your options and what they cost. This is what I do, $19 a month, and it works just great. So you hit continue, and excuse me. This is where you can put in the promo code, if there's a promo code, and if Craft and Survive likes this video, maybe they'll supply me with a promo code to advertise on my YouTube video, on this YouTube video. We'll see. And then you go to checkout, do your billing information. I've already got a Craft and Survive server, and I'd prefer not having everybody know my first, last name, phone number, and all that stuff. So that's something you'll have to go through. And that wraps up the intro. We're going to now get into the actual server walkthrough. So let's just get right into it. Okay, so now that you have a Craft and Survive account, what you're going to need to do is go into your control panel, and you're going to see these options here: account information, user management, game and voice management. Up here, you can put a support ticket in if you're having issues. But the bulk of what you're going to be doing to manage your server is going to happen under game services. So when you click on that, it's going to bring up this screen here. I'll just give you a brief overview of some of this stuff. Right here is the IP address. I'll go over it later, but just real quick, this is the address that you put into your Steam server. You add it into your Steam server, so that way it's favorited, so that when you go into Ark, you can easily get into your game. we'll go over that more in detail in a little bit. Over here, the server is not running right now. It is stopped. But if it were running, you would see how much of the CPU was being used, how much of the RAM is being used, and here it would tell you if there were players playing the game. So I've got 10 slots, so if I had one person in here, that would be at 10%. So to actually choose the options for your game, that's going to be under configuration files. So that's what's going to be the bulk of this section of the video. There's going to be a bunch of things here, but you don't really need to mess with any of it. Come here, Ember. She's going to knock over the camera. Okay. So anyway, the three main ones you're going to have to worry about is config.bat, gameusersettings.ini, and game.ini. You can look at the other ones if you want, but I think you'll find that you don't really need to mess with them. So let's just start at the top of the three, which is config.bat, configuration editor. One thing that's really nice is when you put your cursor over any of these boxes, it will give you a description of what it means. So that way you have a better idea of what the option actually is. So I like to have force allow cave flyers as true. That way I can fly my pteranodon or whatever type of bird in through a cave. I like my max wild dino level cap to be at 300. So I checked override official difficulty. So that says true. And then for the official difficulty value, I put 10. So I think a good rule of thumb is times 30. So 10 times 30 is 300. If that were 20, it would be level 600 max level cap for wild dinos. Map settings, I'm playing the Ragnarok map, but you can go in here and choose whatever you want. And later on, if you want to mess with total conversion mods, you're going to have to mess with this. But once you've got all that, go ahead and click save, and we'll move on to the gameusersettings.ini file. The text editor and the configuration editor are the same thing. It's just that the text editor is more of like a notepad format, and the configuration editor is just kind of a nicer format. So you can name your session. My session name is Team Havoc. Messages. So in here you can put, like, if you added a new mod to your server and you didn't consult your friends that are playing on the server with you, but you want to let them know, let's say you added the Classic Flyers server, you can write, hey everybody, I added the Classic Flyers mod. And then this is the duration of the message. So when someone logs into my server, it says welcome back, and in 5 seconds that message will disappear. Server password, server admin password, spectator password. Obviously these aren't my passwords. I just temporarily put them like this so I don't get trolled or hacked or messed with in any way. And then you get into your server settings. And just be meticulous, go through this. Some of this stuff is really important, some of it's kind of whatever. Allow hit markers, I like that, so I put true. Admin logging, allow cave building, allow flyer carry PvE. So, just be thorough. Some of the stuff is really good to have a certain way for your own preference. And if you're super new to this, you might want to kind of copy what I've done. The way I've got my server set up is me and everybody on my server, we work. So, and there's not a bunch of people on my server. So, for instance, for taming speed multiplier, that's usually at 1, but I put 1.75. So taming dinos is a little bit quicker, but not so much where it feels like it's cheating, right? So, yeah, go through this, and if you want to copy what I've got, I didn't mess with much. So, and then down here, mod settings, active mods. We're going to talk more about the mods in a later section, but that's important, this part right here. So, but we'll go over that in the mod section. Once you got everything the way you want it, go up here and hit save. And let's go through the game.ini file now. And it's just more options for you to go through. Again, I didn't mess with much of this stuff, but if you kind of want to do what I've done, you might kind of want to copy some of it, like the baby settings and incubation settings. I did mess with some of this stuff. Again, not so much that it feels like it's cheating, but if I wanted to tame a T-Rex, I could do that within, I think it takes me like 5 hours. Well, not to tame a T-Rex, but to breed a T-Rex. It takes me about 5 or 6 hours to breed a T-Rex with these settings. So, you can do it yourself then and not have to worry about that a whole lot. So, anyway, continuing on, just go through the options and be thorough. Then go ahead and hit save once you got that all figured out. And those are the 3 main sections. Remember the config.bat, game user settings, and game.ini. So that wraps up the configuration files setting. Next, we're going to talk about mods. Okay, so there's 2 major sections of mods. One is how to download the mod, and the second is how to update the mod. So let's first talk about how you download the mod onto your server. So what you're going to want to do is, first you need to figure out what mods you want. So go into Steam and click on Ark Survival Evolved. Go to the Browse Workshop, and let's say you want, again, we'll use the Classic Flyers mod. Sorry, got the cat laying right on my lap. So make sure you subscribe to it, and then get the mod ID. So as you can see, it's 895711211, but you can't copy it from here. So I'm going to click on it, and there's a mod ID. So we're going to copy that, and we're going to take that and bring it to the Workshop Mod Manager. And again, make sure that if you've got your server running, that you've stopped the server and then make a backup of the server before you mess with this. And the next section we'll be talking about how to back up the server. So we're going to go to Workshop Mod Manager, and we're going to go to Download Mod, and we're going to plug in the Classic Flyers mod ID. We're going to hit I accept that I made a backup of my server, blah, 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 blah. And then you're going to hit execute, and it's going to bring up this window here. I've already got it downloaded, so I'm just going to exit out, but let it finish. It will say that's finished, so then you know that you can back out. But okay, so now you've got the Classic Flyers mod downloaded to the server, but it's not an active mod on the server yet. So to make it active, what you got to do is go back into your configuration files. And remember, we just touched on that briefly just a few moments ago. Go to your GameUserSettings.ini configuration editor. Scroll all the way to the bottom. And then active mods, paste it in there. And make sure to separate them by a comma. No spaces or anything like that. As you can see, I got a ton of mods. And I've already got the Classic Flyers mod in there, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. But this is what it should look like when you have multiple mods, right? Just a bunch of numbers separated by commas. So that's all there is to downloading the mod and making it active. So let's just do just a quick summary. You go in to the workshop, you just browse through the different types of mods. When you find the mod that you want, get the mod ID, go to the Workshop Mod Manager, select download mod, put in the mod ID there, hit I accept, execute, and then it's installed on the server, but it's not active on the server. To make it active, you go to configuration files, game user settings, scroll all the way down, paste it, separate the multiple IDs by a comma. Okay, so that's it for downloading and making the mod active. Now, when you go to play the game, or when any of your friends go to play on the server will make anyone playing on that server download the mod. So if your friends are like, I don't know how to download mods, well, don't worry, the server will take care of it for them. you're doing all the hard work. So really they should be paying for the server, not you. So, okay. Let's talk about updating the server now. Again, make sure it's stopped. Make sure that you've made a backup of the server. But what's going to happen is at some point, you're going to try to join your game, and a window is going to pop up, and it's going to say, hey, we're not going to let you play the game until you updated the mods. So when that happens, it's like, oh crap, what do I do? And I had to learn this the hard way. It took me a little while to figure it out. So when that happens, you need to figure out which mod it was that most recently updated. That way you know which mod you need to actually update. And I'm going to show you how to figure out which mod that was. So go to Ark Survival Evolved, go to Browse the Workshop, go to Browse Subscribed Items. Remember, you subscribe to all the mods that you downloaded on your server. And then you're going to go right here and go to Date Updated. And now it's going to orient all the mods for which ones were most recently updated. So for me, the last mod that was updated was July 5th. So let's say I tried to join or to play the game at 10 o'clock in the morning on July 5th. It would have that window and it would say, hey, you're not going to be able to play the game until you've made sure that all the mods have been updated. So it's like, oh crap. So I come in here and it's like, oh, okay, the Classic Flyers mod needs to be updated because the mod was updated at 9:30. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick look at the mod ID 8957112211, and we're going to remember that, and we're going to come in here, go to Workshop Mod Manager, select Task, Update Mod, and then here's a list of all the mods you've installed on your server, but we're looking for 8957112211, right? Because that's the one we need to update. So we click on that, hit I accept that I made a backup of my server, blah, 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 and you're gonna hit execute. And there's no real penalty for updating a mod that you've already, that doesn't need to be updated. When I first had that screen that came up when I was trying to play the game, it's like, we're not gonna let you play until you updated all the mods. I actually went one by one, updating every single mod. It probably took me 30 minutes. And I did that 5 or 6 times until I figured out how to pinpoint the one that actually needed to be updated. So once that's done, you're not out of the woods yet. There's one more thing you got to do. You have to validate the Steam update. And you just click on that and hit OK. I'm not going to do it because it takes like 5 to 10 minutes. It takes a while to validate the Steam update. But once that's done, you're good to go. You can hit start, and it takes 10 to 15 minutes after you hit start for the server to actually be up and running. So don't be too freaked out if it doesn't show up right away. So that's it for the mod section. Next, we're going to be talking about how to back up and roll back the world. Okay, so backing up the server is very easy, and you're going to want to back up the server every time you change around the options, especially if they're more major options. So just to be safe, no matter what, if you change anything, make sure you stop the server, and then after you stop the server, back up the server. And I'll just do that right now. It doesn't take too terribly long, and you just want to play it safe, right? Like, you don't want to have to roll back the server for any reason because you corrupted something. Whatever the case may be, I've never had any problems. I've actually changed around some options without backing up the server because I was being careless and lazy. Never had a problem, but just be safe, might as well. As you can see, it's not taking too terribly long. I'd probably say maybe 30 to 45 seconds. Okay, done. Okay, so the server's backed up. Now, let's say something catastrophic happened in the game, like you logged in and it turned out that you left the server running overnight, which there's no problem with that. But let's say like a Giganotosaurus came through and destroyed your base and killed all of your tamed dinos, whatever the case might be. What you can do is come in here, make sure that you stopped it and everything. Go to rollback world. And here's a list of the snapshots of, previous save files. Remember when we first went through the game user settings and config.bat files in the configuration files section of the video? It said it will save every 60 minutes. That's what this is. So, you can go back quite a ways. And then, choose whatever one you want. I accept, execute. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to lose a bunch of my progress or go back. I've not had anything catastrophic happen. You can also go to restore server and go to backup date. So it goes back a little ways. So yeah, if you need to go back, you can also do that here. I accept, blah, 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 execute. So there's two places to roll back your server. One is restore server and one is rollback world. I've had to do that once. I had a mod freak out on me, so I had to delete all my mods and then reinstall all my mods and then roll back the server and then start the server to get everything working correctly again. So that's pretty much it. I think I covered pretty much everything. I guess something that kind of fits within this realm is if you wanted to start a new world, let's say you got sick of Ragnarok or you started up the server with Ragnarok and all your friends were like, hey, I want to play Aberration or whatever, you just go to wipe server and it will delete everything and then you can choose a new map and start fresh. So yeah, that finishes up the server section. Next, what I'm going to talk about is how to add your server to favorites so it's easy to play and to get to. Okay, so to add your server to your favorites list so that it's really easy to get into the game. And this is something that you're going to have your friends do so it's easy for them to find and access the game as well. You're going to want to get this IP address and copy it and then go into your Steam view tab and then go down to servers, go into your favorites tab, add a server, and then paste that IP address in and then add this address to favorites. Voila, Team Havoc showed up. And again, I got my server running. You can see how much CPU is being used and how much RAM. I don't think it would show up, or at least it would say that there was no server for that IP address. But if your server's up and running and you add it, it will look like that. So that's good. So now let's get into the game and see what that looks like. And again, this is kind of essential. When I first tried to do this, I could not find my server anywhere, and it was such a pain, and I had to dig around to figure out how to do it. So hopefully this will save you some time. Hey, did you know male and female animals can often be distinguished by their color patterns? Okay, so go to Join Arc, and here's all the official servers. You don't want those. You want to go to Favorites, and there it is. No big deal. So you just click that, hit Join, enter whatever password that you chose in the game user settings.ini, and you're in. Easy deal. So that wraps up that section. I'm going to just kind of go over a summary in the next section and just kind of wrap up everything that we talked about and, hopefully clear everything up in a condensed form. Okay, so let's just quickly summarize everything that we've gone through. you made your account, you've gone to your control panel, you went into your game services, the server is not running, it is in stopped mode. And remember, anytime you want to change something and the server is running, make sure that you stop it and then back up the server, right? So the first thing you do is you go into your configuration file, you go through the config.bat, the game user settings, and the game.ini files, and make sure that you get everything the way that you want it to be, and make sure you save it. And then to add mods, you get the mod ID from Steam, and don't forget to subscribe to those mods for easy access and for updating. You go into your Workshop mod manager, and you can download the mod here and update the mod. Click that, do the mod, hit accept, confirmation, hit execute. And then once you download the mod, go into your configuration file, go into your game user settings, scroll to the bottom, add it to the list of active mods, separate all the mods with a comma, no spaces. To update the mods, you just go in here. Remember, you go into Steam and you sort it by the last updated mod, so that in your subscribed items, and it will bring the last updated mod to the top of the list. Remember that mod ID, come in here, update mod, find it, click on it, I accept, execute, and then your mod is updated. And once your mod is updated, validate Steam file, and once that's done, that takes a little while, about 5 to 10 minutes. You can go ahead and hit start and start the server. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes after you hit start for it to run, before you can find it. To add your server to your favorites and to make it really easy to join for you and your friends, get this address here, the query info address, copy and paste it into, go to view, servers, favorites, add a server, copy and paste it into there. It will show up like this, Team Havoc, which is my session name. And then you just go into Arc and go to join, and you'll find it in the favorites. And other than that, I think that's about it. I hope you have found this video useful. I don't think there's anything else out there like this video. If you have a Nitrado or Nitrado, however you pronounce it, that server, or a host Havoc server, any other type of server, it'll probably be somewhat similar to this. So maybe this will help you out if you have those types of servers as well. Last thing to mention is if you have any more questions, click on help guides, and there's a bunch of stuff in here. So if you're having any problems, just come in here. You can also post questions. If you have any technical issues or anything like that, you can always do a support ticket. Come in here, fill that stuff out, select the priority. A lot of times, if you can take a picture, like a screenshot or something, and attach it, that helps them out a lot. And that's it. I hope you found this video useful. And if you have any other questions or concerns or anything like that, feel free to put in the comments section, and I'll be sure to address it. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. And yeah, visit my channel if you like. I got a bunch of stuff on there about ARC. So and I'm really responsive. So, just go on there and talk to me too if you want. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.